Okay, so we're going to look at a type of trend analysis that's called common size financial statements, and there's two types. There's what's called vertical analysis and horizontal analysis, and I sent you just these numbers, I believe, just so you could take a stab at it yourself, just because you probably get more out of it than watching me do it and then try to remember what I did. But it's really not real difficult. So, and it's based, we do both balance sheet and income statement, or we can. Vertical analysis, the key here is we're looking at everything from the point of view from the balance sheet as a percentage of sales. So, or excuse me, a percentage of total assets for the year. So everything on the balance sheet is put into percentage terms in terms of total assets. So for example, for 2017, we would convert our cash of $60 into a percentage of the total assets of $1,200, so it would be 5%. Okay. Same thing for accounts receivable. And again, once we do this, we can copy and paste, and it's relatively easy, but our accounts receivable would just be 200 divided by total assets. Inventory 200 or 600 divided by total assets, which is 50%. So on and so forth. And then obviously our total assets divided by total assets would equal 100%. Okay. Same thing on the liability and equity section. Everything is in terms of total assets. So $80 divided by 1,200 is 6.7%. 450 divided by 1,200 is 37.5%. And equity would represent 55.8%. Total liabilities and equity, remember, assets equals liabilities and equity, so that would have to equal 100% of our total assets, because this number and this number are the same. Okay, so, and then on the income statement, we put sales, everything equal to sales, a percentage of sales. So that's our base that we use. Whoops. So sales divided by sales for the top line, and then everything is a percentage of sales. So our cost of goods sold, 1,020 divided by 2,000 would be 51%, which means our gross margin's 49%. Selling and administrative is 28, which means our operating income should be 21. Other income, which again, not something I really look at very often, is 0.5%, and our net income 21.5%. So this is our gross profit margin ratio, our operating profit margin ratio, and our net profit margin ratio. So basically we're calculating all those as part of what we do when we do this trend analysis. Okay, so then for the second year we're going to do the same thing, except everything is going to be based on a percentage of on the balance sheet, the total assets for 2018. So we can see our cash represents a larger total of our total assets in 2018 than it did in 2017, which means something else is going to have to be a lesser percentage. Our accounts receivable is, what did I do? Oops, accounts receivable will be also a larger percentage of our total assets. Inventory we see went down in absolute numbers where our assets went up, so it's going to represent a smaller percentage of our total assets. And our fixed assets also went down a little bit. So, you know, we can analyze what's happening and as, you know, in trend terms over the years, how our makeup of our assets might be changing and whatnot. What I usually look for more than anything are these two items. I don't, you know, unless sales increase significantly, I don't want to see a big increase in accounts receivable, because that could mean that we're having collection problems. And I also don't like to see big increases in inventory, because that could be an inventory control, inventory management problem. All right, then our accounts payable for 2018. Whoops. Oh, copied the wrong thing. Is down a little bit. Our notes payable down a little bit, and our equity then must have gone up a little bit. So nothing significant there that would worry me or cause me to want to do further investigation. So the only investigation that I might be interested here is on that accounts receivable line, but I'll probably wait and look at 2019 before I get worried about it. And then our income statement, everything is put into a percentage of our sales number. So our sales is always equal to 100%. And I'm just going to copy and paste down the line. And again, here, cost of goods sold is up a little bit, but not significant. Our overhead or G&A, other operating costs are up a little bit, but we see our sales went down, so that could be why the percentage is less. I'm not worried about this too much, so you know, my focus is going to be in those areas primarily, and nothing too significant that's going to make me worry yet. But again, I want to look at a third year to see if there might be a problem. So our 2019, again, we're going to take each element of the balance sheet and put that as a percentage of our total assets. So our cash again is up a little bit. Accounts receivable is even higher, so now that's bothering me. Inventories steady, so I'm not too worried about that. Property, plant, and equipment, I'm never too worried about that, other than if it keeps going down. My worry is going to be that we are not replacing needed equipment that we need to operate our business. And I might also then analyze the repairs and maintenance account if I have access to that, to see if that's going up and that we're spending more money repairing equipment as opposed to replacing maybe obsolete equipment. Okay, and then our balance sheet, our accounts payable are going down, so we're paying our bills. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. Our liability notes are going down. I don't have a problem with that, being the conservative person that I am. Equity's going up, so for me that's all good. our income statement, again, everything will be a percentage of sales. So sales are 100% for each year, and then our cost of goods sold for 2019 is down a little bit, so no worries on that line, so no worries on my gross margin line. Selling and administrative, we saw a little upward tick in 2018. That's come back down in 2019, probably because our sales is up. So I'm good there. Income statement to me looks fine. I wouldn't spend a lot of time investigating anything internally. You know, I still want to do a comparison to major competitors and or industry to kind of see where we stand versus that, but nothing on the income statement concerns me too much. So my personal concern would be right there on what's happening to our accounts receivable. You know, why is it that we're not doing as good a job collecting, and is it because we're selling to less creditworthy customers to keep our sales up, or just what's going on there? So that's called vertical analysis, common size financial statements, and it's where we put everything on the balance sheet in terms of total assets, everything on the income statement in terms of our sales. Okay. And then on our horizontal analysis, we take our oldest year, which in this case, I don't know if oldest is a good way to say that, but the earliest year, I guess, is better, and we set everything in that year equal to 100%. So our cash is going to be $60 divided by $60, and then for 2018 we're going to look at percentage of cash to the earliest year's cash, same thing for 2019, and we can see if it's going up, that's what it's going to show us, it's going up. Okay. So same thing for accounts receivable. We're going to use 2017 as our base year, and then everything will be put in terms of 2017 like such. So we can see those are going up in absolute terms, and this just gives the percentage increase relative to the base year. We're going to do the same thing for every balance sheet and income statement account. We can see our inventory went down, then went back up, so that's what we're going to see here. For 2018, it's down. 2019, it's up. Okay, and again, it just puts these in percentage terms, so it makes it relatively easier to assess the trend. It's more like comparing apples to apples. In our property, plant, and equipment, fixed assets are going down each year, so we see that. And then our total, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it in our total assets in terms of the total assets in 2017, and see what the trend is for our assets. We can see they're growing. So they grew 4% in 18, and then between 17 and 19 they grew 20%. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing for the liabilities and equity accounts. And I'm just going to do all the rest of 17 first, so I can do one big copy and paste. So this is more, somebody like me again. I enjoy this sort of thing because it makes it easier to look at things. And once you've set up a model for it, you dump in the Excel numbers for the financial statements, and then boom, this could be basically automatic. So you only really need to set it up one time, set up your model one time. So we see accounts payable are going down in absolute terms, they're going down in relative terms also. Same thing for our notes payable, which means our equity has to be increasing, and it is. Liabilities and equity are going to match assets because they're equal to each other. And then our income statement, everything in terms of 2017. So that's going to be our base for our calculation. And again, the nice thing with computers and Excel or similar software is you really only have to set this up one time. And if you like to do a longer trend, to me 3 years is good, 2 years isn't enough, and beyond 3 years is fine, but at some point it's so far out things may have changed significantly, so it kind of loses its meaning. So for me 3 years is a really good period of time. Okay, make sure those are all good. Yep. So everything in 2017 is set equal to 100, and then we can just copy and paste that to 18 and 19. So we saw sales went down, then they went back up, down, back up in percentage terms. Our costs went down and back up too, so relative to our sales, that's pretty consistent, and we can see that over here in our vertical analysis. This is called horizontal analysis. They're both referred to as common size financial statements, common size balance sheet, common size income statement. Again, the only thing on the income statement that jumps out to me is the area that I'm not concerned about unless in absolute dollars there's something giant in here, and then that would lead me to go to the footnotes to find out what it was. And so that's it. So that's a type of trend analysis called common size financial statements, and we're looking at it from two perspectives. Vertical analysis, set total assets equal to 100%, put all balance sheet items in terms of total assets. Income statement, set sales equal to 100%, and then everything else is a percentage of sales. Horizontal analysis, set your earliest year equal to your base, and then everything else is in terms of that earliest year. Okay. So that's it for this week. Again, next week we are going to be looking at asset utilization, which is how efficiently we use different categories of assets, and those are called turnover ratios. And then we're also going to spend some time on market measures, which are your most commonly used ratios, like earnings per share, dividends per share, and whatnot. And that'll be next week, and I'll get a hold of you beforehand. I'm probably going to have those up early because next Saturday I've got to go to Dubai for a week. So I'm gonna make sure I get everything up. It's probably gonna be a little bit difficult to get information back and forth, so I'm going to get you guys everything you need early. Not that you need to look at anything early, but yeah, and then I'll be back late in the week, so pretty much I'll be there all week. And then the following week is our scheduled guest speaker, so won't be really anything to prepare for on your end except your Enron papers due that week. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that book now. Alrighty, so have a great week, and we'll get back together on video again next week. Take care.